Whoa! Yeah. I said gently. All over the kitchen. There's cocoa all over the kitchen. The kids know I'm in the kitchen. One of my favorite things when the whole family comes over for supper, my husband has made some beautiful porchetta pork chops that are ready to go. And we have our chicken ready to go. And we have our dinner buns waiting, which is on my YouTube channel if you want to know how to do the dinner buns. But one of the most important things is the grandbabies cannot walk into our farmhouse without knowing that there's cookies in the cookie jar. So we have to make cookies. So today we're making Mocha chunk cookies, right? Mocha chunk cookies, lots of chocolate. Okay, so we're going to, first of all, I preheated the oven to 300 degrees and I got my cookie sheets ready with some parchment paper. So I just want to talk to you about parchment paper for a minute because you can get white parchment paper, and parchment paper is something that your cookies won't burn and your pans will stay nice and clean. So I always use parchment paper. Since my cousin Linda told me, hello, use parchment paper. So now I use it, and here's the difference though. You can buy parchment paper that is white. I don't like it because that's bleached. So all those chemicals are going into your food. So if you buy parchment paper, try to get the brown one that is unbleached. It's very hard to get. I did have to get it online. So if you can't get it at the grocery stores, go online and you can get it. And I like to get it into these pre-cut sheets because then it's all done for you. So we're going to line our cookie sheets with that. Okay, so we're going to combine the flour. We got our handy dandy mixer here. We're going to put 2.5 cups of flour in there. So I always tell our grandchildren with baking, you have to be exact. So I level it off with a knife. So that's 1 cup. What did I say, 2.5? So when you level it off, because cooking is different, right? You don't have to be exact. But baking, you have to be exact. So that's 2. I'll get 1/2. So that's 2.5 cups of flour. So we've got our flour, then we're going to get our cocoa, and we need 1/3 cup of cocoa powder. And this is just plain cocoa, not hot chocolate, just cocoa. Level that off. So you'll see on the can, it's just cocoa. There's no sugar, there's nothing else in there. If you want to look at in the ingredients, it's just cocoa. So you've got 1/3 cup of cocoa that you're going to put in there. So, you know when I said that you need to get all your stuff ready? Well, I thought I did. I forgot my measuring spoon, so learn from my mistakes. So now we need 1 teaspoon baking soda. There we go. And we also need salt. So we are going to do 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So 1/4 teaspoon salt, okay. And we are just going to mix that just gently. There we go. So now we're going to get another small bowl. Whoa! Yeah. I said gently. Okay, we got cocoa everywhere. Okay, so now we're going to get another bowl and we're going to put the coffee crystals in because you use... Nana always has stuff all over the kitchen, right? All over the kitchen. There's cocoa all over the kitchen. The kids know I'm in the kitchen. My husband is a very clean cook. I always have something going on. So yeah, we exploded. Okay, so we're going to put our coffee crystals in another bowl. and that is 2 teaspoons. And what it is just any type of instant coffee. That's it. I chose a nice Colombian coffee because I wanted a nice rich cookie. So that's all it is. So we're going to put 2 teaspoons of coffee crystals in this bowl. Okay. And we're just going to put 2 teaspoons of water in there just to mix it up. So I'm going to go over here and put 2 teaspoons. So we just have to mix that up. You just want the coffee to be mixed in here. So we're going to just mix it up a bit. And then we're going to set that aside. So we'll put it over here. Okay. Then we're going to take, let's see. We're going to take another large bowl and we're going to put our sugars in there. I'm actually going to take this because I want to use my mixer. So I'm going to take this cocoa concoction and I'm going to put it in a different bowl because I want to use my mixer to mix things really well. Okay, so we'll put that there. So we're going to blend our sugars right now, and I like to use the mixer because then things get into a really nice paste. So we're going to do 1 cup of white sugar. There's a cup of white sugar. And then we're going to put, let's see, we've got 3/4 cups of brown sugar packed. So I need a 1/4 cup measuring. Okay. So we're going to take our brown sugar and we need 3/4 of packed brown sugar. So this is where when they say packed brown sugar, they mean packed. So you pack it right in there really good. You can see, so it's packed. So I need 3 of these because I need 3/4, and this is a 1/4 cup. So I need 3/4 cup of packed brown sugar. Okay, and I'm just going to mix that a little bit. Just to get it mixed. And maybe a little bit more. So in here now I'm going to, oh, I did it again. Okay, so in here I'm going to add a cup of butter. Okay, real butter, not margarine. When you're baking, there's nothing like butter. You can't put margarine in there because it's not going to taste the same. I bet you my grandchildren would say, something's wrong with these cookies if I used margarine. They would know the difference. So I'm going to put it on low because if I put it on high, it's going to do what it usually does and fluff all over. So I have to get those grains mixed into that butter, and then I'm going to put it a little bit higher. I highly recommend a handy dandy mixer, but if you don't have one, a hand mixer is awesome. Because you know, I had to wait a long time in life to get a handy dandy mixer. So you can see it's clumped together. So now I can go for it. I can really whip this thing without it going all over the kitchen. So we're going to let that mix. Usually my mixer goes all over the counter. And you're going to see that what you're left with I'll just take this out so you can see. What you're left with is a grainy paste. It feels grainy and it's like a paste. That's what you want. So you mix it enough to get that grainy paste. Okay, and then we're going to add, I'm just going to put this on low. And then we're going to add our eggs and coffee. So we need 3 large eggs. So I just keep my mixer going. Okay, and we're going to give that a good mixing. And then we need our coffee in there. Tilt this up and we are going to put our coffee in there. So that's our coffee with a little bit of butter, or sorry, a little bit of water. So that's your coffee with your little bit of water that you had. And that's what makes your mocha cookies mocha. Even our grandson Jonathan, who is a very picky eater, loves these cookies. So I always go by Jonathan. If he loves something, I know it's a good recipe, because he's picky. So we're going to let that beat for a minute. And this is what you're left with, just a nice dough. And we're going to take our flour mix that we had from before. Remember our flour and our cocoa? And we're going to put that in here. But here's the key to these cookies. To get a nice soft cookie, you cannot overmix these cookies. They gotta be just mixed, and don't overmix them. So I'm gonna put this in and I'm going to do it on low. You're going to see, once I start seeing it get a little bit mixed, still a little bit powdery, so I'm just going to keep going. But now you can see where that's getting mixed. Now I shut it off because you don't want to overmix these, because that's where the softness comes from. So now I'm going to take 2 cups of chocolate chunks. Now these are semi-sweet chocolate. You can get them in the baking section, or you can get a semi-sweet chocolate bar, but you don't want a regular chocolate bar because it's going to be too sugary. So my husband has just chopped these into little chunks for me. And I'll just show you how he did it, because, you know, he always makes life easier for me in the kitchen. And when he saw me doing this, he said, well, I'm gonna help you. So all I did was take my knife. Anybody that has a food processor, you can also put it in the food processor. As long as you don't chop it too much, because these chunks are what's going to be melting in your mouth. So you don't want to chop it too much. So you're going to put that in there. Now I need 2 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chunks, and you can see, you know, I'm just about there, but I ran out of chocolate. So you can just top it up with chocolate chips. It'll be fine. And I like to use Hershey's, because Hershey's has great chocolate. Hershey's Chip It. So I'm just going to top it off with that, and then I'm going to put it back in here. Whoops. And I'm just going to mix it just enough to say that it's just mixed. So you watch this part really carefully. Don't leave it. Watch it really carefully. You just want to mix it to where the chocolate is combined. And I'm going to give it a little twist, and then I'm done. Now you're going to have a nice soft cookie. So now we're going to take a spoon and our handy dandy butter knife, and I do it the old school way. I know a lot of people use a ice cream scoop. I got very frustrated with ice cream scoops because the dough gets stuck in there and I'm constantly cleaning it. I'm back to my old school way, a spoon, a butter knife, done. So you're just going to approximately measure whatever you want your cookie to be. So this is probably about a tablespoon. And I leave them fluffy like that. I don't roll them because I want the cookies to be bumpy with chocolate. So you can come here and see. And I'm putting them about, I don't know, an inch apart because they are going to spread a little bit. And of course they're on our parchment paper so they're not going to burn, because a lot of stoves, you know, people think that they burn their cookies. It's not the baker, it's the stove, because if you don't have parchment paper, cookies burn easily. So if you have parchment paper, your days of burning cookies are over and you can say, well, it wasn't me, it was my stove. That's a true story. One of our girls always said to me, Nana, I'm always burning my cookies. I said, yeah, well, it's not you. You got to get parchment paper. So she got parchment paper and forever never burnt cookies again. So we're going to put these cookies in the oven now. You can see they look awesome. We're going to put it at 300 degrees for 20 to 22 minutes, depending on your oven, right? So you don't want to open the door until about 20 minutes and then see where they're at. But I'm going to start at 20 minutes and we shall take a peek at them. You don't want them to be too cooked. Well, they can't be too cooked and they can't be too uncooked. So sometimes I'll just take my finger and touch them. They just need to be firm but soft. So we will wait for these to come out of the oven and we will see you then. So cookies coming out of the oven, one of my favorite things. So let's take a peek. And this is what you want to see. And I'll show you. They are soft, but you can tell that they're cooked. So I'm going to take those out and put them up here. And then you wait about 10 minutes. You might have to test them, right? You gotta test them before everybody else eats them. Mocha cookies, lots of chocolate. They're awesome. One of my favorite things. You have a great day.